Well, here we are up on Loch Mick today, and I'm here with Peter Fraser, who is the Vice Chairman of the SGA. And I'm just going to ask Peter a little bit about the Cairngorms National Park changes and just what's going on. Over to you, Peter.
Well, I was born and brought up and worked all my life in what is now the Cairngorms National Park. And over the years there's been a lot of changes, and if the changes that's being proposed by the National Park take place, then we're going to see even bigger changes in this area that we live in. A lot of people made their living from these hill farms here, and also keepers, foresters and sporting estates. And the policies that the National Park now want will see a lot of these changes take place. First of all, they want to see an expansion of the trees out onto the grouse moors, which will have a big impact on the grouse, but not only grouse, but all moorland nesting birds, the golden eagle and the white hare. Because these animals and birds must live in wide open spaces. They're not woodland birds. So we're going to see a big decline in their numbers should this take place. Sheep too will have to come off the hill, so that means a big difference in the income from hill farmers. But also they want to see the arable ground planted as well, a lot of it planted as well. So there's going to be big changes in the agricultural sector, and same on sporting estates. They want the deer numbers reduced so that these trees can grow on the open hill roughly to about 3 to 5 deer per square kilometre, and that is unsustainable for sporting estates. Without stalking, without driven grouse, then big changes will take place here and a lot of jobs will go, and this will have a big impact also on rural businesses that depend on sporting estates for their income as well. So it's very worrying times that lie ahead for everybody within the national park, I'm afraid.
Now, everywhere I've been, there's such a passion for the job, isn't there? And what you do, and for the deer. And there's been just shock, really, that deer are just deemed to be vermin.
Yes, I think if everything's thought out in the countryside, sensible policies, there's room for deer, there's room for grouse, there's room for everything. But it just seems to be one thing, and that's it. And that the reduction in deer really has been big here. Areas where you used to see quite a lot of deer, there's nothing. And even when you speak to some of the hill walkers that's been coming back here for years, they ask you, what's happened to all the deer? We haven't seen a deer. We've been here a week. We haven't seen a beast. And we continually hear there's over 1 million deer in Scotland. And I'm sorry, I disagree with that. Red deer numbers have declined enormously. Where there has been an increase in deer is roe deer numbers, and they've exploded. There's no question about that. But that's basically in the lowland areas where there is now a lot of forestry schemes.
Yeah, so worrying times ahead for everybody, really. And yeah, it comes back to the balance, doesn't it, Peter?
It's just getting the thing right, but also you need people that understand the countryside and what it's all about, and unfortunately we just don't have that. A lot of these people that gets onto these committees, they're all urban based and they have very little idea of the countryside and what actually goes on, and that's it.
Yeah.
But the sad thing is too, they go on about this rewilding, and in areas where that's going to happen, then it is a disaster, because I've been through some of that areas myself where this has been going on for 10 years fully, and you can actually don't see a thing. We went out one day in Speyside and had a walk out through Glenfishie, and all we saw was a dipper, a few chaffinches and a roebuck. We never saw or heard a grouse on the hill, we didn't see a white hare, nothing, not even a deer, absolutely nothing. And that's what's going to happen. We're going to see a big reduction in the wildlife in our countryside should this wildlife happen, this rewilding happen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I've seen it for myself everywhere we've been, and we'll talk about that a bit more later on, but thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
You're welcome, Helen.